So this video is actually a good follow-up to my previous video today where I talked about comic sales for June 2021 and how manga is basically taken over the market. The American market is pretty much lost to Japanese anime and manga. This is nothing new. I've covered this quite a bit. I just like going over it every month because it's fun to do. And for some reason, American Comic Pros celebrate it. But that's not entirely what this video is about. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of the reasons why American comic books are in the toilet. It's not because of Dean Cain. We have to start here, though, to get to the rest of the video. So a little bit of a backdrop here. If you remember, and I did a video on this, Captain America, Steve Rogers' Captain America, not Falcon Captain America, because Falcon Captain America embraces socialism. He's stood up in front of a crowd of people before and says, "I'm a socialist." This is where American comics are. That's some of the reasons why American comics are in the toilet right there. Okay. That's pretty much saying, hey, half the country, why don't you go ahead and get effed? Get out of here. We don't want you. And then they also, of course, made Captain America a Yahtzee, but that's somewhat over. I don't want to get too much into that. But right now, Captain America, he decided he's going to go up the American dream. The American dream is dead. And he went on to praise finger quotes, peaceful protesters and stuff like that. It's quite sad to see what's being done to Captain America. But Dean Cain came out. If you don't know who Dean Cain is, he played Superman on the TV show Superman and Lois. Fine TV show, by the way. A little old, but still pretty good. So he's played a Superman before. And he didn't like what happened to Captain America. This is what he had to say when he went on Fox News. He said, I love Captain America. I love the concept of Captain America, but I am so tired of all of this wokeness and anti-Americanism. We just celebrated our 245th birthday. In my opinion, America is the greatest country in history. It's not perfect. We are constantly striving for a more perfect union as well. But I believe she is the most fair, equitable country ever with more opportunity than anyone's ever seen. And that's why people are clamoring to get here from all over the globe. Cain then cites a senator and says, I agree with Senator Tom Cotton because a couple of days ago who said perhaps Captain needs to be demoted to lieutenant because I think it makes good sense. And he said, it sounds like Captain America may need a demotion to lieutenant after the speech, but this is what happens when you allow left-wing activists to write your comics. And that's 100% true. And they go on a little bit more. But I agree with Dean Cain and the senator. Comics are quite woke, quite political. And people say, well, they've always been political. Not as bad as now. You have a lot of people that aren't really that talented writing pretty overtly political stories. I mean, they're kind of in your face. It doesn't get any more in your face than current Marvel comics, especially. DC got its problems, but I got to say, not all of their books are super political. A handful are, but for the most part, you could still get some decent comics at DC. Marvel is just lost. So this brings us to former Marvel editor, now at IDW, where she edits their Marvel and Star Wars comics, Heather Antos. By the way, don't bother anybody. Leave everybody in this video alone, please. I want to make sure I want to state that. I'm just going over, someone that works in the comic book industry. So this editor, what's funny about her is she's told fans to F off regularly. She does it all the time. She gets celebrated for it. She was one of the original Milkshake girls. Pretty much has no experience in comics whatsoever, like most of the people in comics. And she had quite the dumb take. So she's responding pretty much to Dean Cain here, and she says, he knows Superman wasn't an American, right? Do you hear that? Superman wasn't an American? No, Superman is in a lot of ways like the perfect American. He's an immigrant who grew to love this country and fights for it. He he lived, well, at least he did live the American dream. In the comic books, Superman has renounced his American citizenship. So I guess he's a citizen of Earth. Literally, like he used to say, you know, I'm here to fight for the American way of life and represent America. That's been stripped from him in the comic books. But I don't know if I count that. To me, Superman will always be, you know, someone who fights for the American way. But this is a really dumb take. He knows Superman wasn't American, right? Because he's a Kryptonian, you know, and he came to Earth. It's a weird own. Got a lot of flack for it, by the way. A lot of flack for it, which led to this tweet. To the reply guys commenting that Supes was an immigrant, therefore American in that regard. Totally agree. Dean Cain doesn't agree. That makes you an American, though. So by his standards, Supes isn't an American, which isn't in fact at all. He totally is all about immigration. Nobody is against like legal immigration. And in fact, a lot of these people that come here and go through the process and become American citizens, usually like I guarantee they probably love the country a lot more than some of these people that are tearing up Portland right now. Or wouldn't run around tearing flags. They probably have a flag in their yard because they're very grateful to be here. Okay? No one's against that. But it's just a strange own to do that. Dean Cain loves this country. And he goes on to talk about immigration and, you know, doing it the right way, basically, is, I think, a good way to say that. It's just a strange own. And I really don't think that I think that she's saying this after she got flack for it. This is just a good example of where the comic book pros are right now. Like, you know, he wasn't American, right? Yes, he is. I don't believe that this is a genuine tweet right here. I think this is because people were clapping back. Probably people in the industry that, bottom-up industry of comic books where pretty much people with no talent run the comic book industry because they run around doing woke politics and they'll weaponize Twitter, make up rumors about people to get people thrown off comics. If you're a conservative in comic book industry, you better keep your mouth shut or they'll get rid of you. You don't agree with all of their far-left ideology, they'll get rid of you. And it doesn't matter who you are. You could be the most talented person in the industry. You're gone if you step out of line. In fact, they'll probably get rid of you anyway because they got to get one of their buddies in your position. They've totally ruined the industry. That's why you see the comics just failing. This is why manga's taking over. And they kind of deserve it. But this has got to be one of the worst takes I've ever seen. He knows Superman wasn't an American, right? No. Superman's probably more American than you. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that and subscribe if you're new.